Hello and welcome. I am Viradu, coach of the Atacama Tyranids, and today we're going to be doing the postcom for week 3 of SPDA Ultraball division. So I don't know if you managed to see my opponent's team there, but he has a really bulky team with two powerful wall breakers in the form of Ursa Luna and TU, which are arguably the ones that hit the hardest in the entire draft board. But he also has four different modes that are really tanky. One of those is Alomomola, another one is Empoleon, um, and I can't remember the other two. Yeah, we'll see when the battle unfolds here. So I live with since he has a lot of walls here, I decided to bring choice specs Greninja, and I went straight for a Dark Pulse here. I also unpacking Switcheroo to cripple some of these tanks, but I don't plan to do that yet. So I go for a strong Dark Pulse here, and I immediately see that Alomomola is not especially defensive, which is really good for me because he took a lot of damage, and I also got the lucky flinch. So yeah, he's going to be forced to switch out now. He won't be able to flip turn to get some momentum. And seeing that this thing was physically defensive was fairly good for my game plan here. So yeah, he then brings in Empoleon, and I went for another Dark Pulse, and that thing did about, I would say, 40%, and that's left over. So I saw that this thing is heavily specially defensive, and seeing as it's especially defensive, he's probably packing some support moves in the form of maybe knockoff. I was afraid to be knocked off here, and I was contemplating what to bring in. So yeah, he could also pack Roost in case he wanted to stay healthy to actually tank some of my Greninja's hits. And here, yeah, seeing that he would also be carrying Scald. I don't know if this thing learns Scald. I went into my Mela to tank Water type. So yeah, here he goes for a Roost, trying to stay healthy to tank some of my Greninja hits. He now knows that I am choice specs on the thing, and I tried here. Yeah, see, as he had an Alomomola, I decided to bring Substitute on this thing to try to set up on it. So yeah, here he's going to probably switch out, but I didn't account for the possibility of him bringing Ice Beam. I am a little bit tanky on the special side this week, so I don't think that thing would have one-hit KO'd me, but he went for a knockout, which is completely fine. I was carrying leftovers, but my regenerator can keep me actually healthy in this situation. And I don't expect him to be able to break my sub here. He has probably the water type move. I know he has knockup and boost, so yeah, and I don't think he has a nice deck. Otherwise, he would have stayed in and clicked it to break my sub. Yeah, so I went for Nasty Blood here, knowing that this thing wall me. I tried to bring Nasty Blood Energy Ball because I know it would 2-hit KO this annoying Wheezy. So yeah, he is faster than me and goes for a Sludge Bomb, which obviously breaks my sub, but I don't know, I didn't count how much damage that would actually do to my thing. So in hindsight, I should have probably stayed in if that thing didn't KO me and go straight for another energy ball trying to grab a KO on Wheezy. That would have been really good for my Nino, which is especially defensive this week, to be able to tank TU with Flash Fire actually. Would have been good for Maria Gracia, and would have been good for Oski, my Iron Hands. So yeah, he brought in his physically defensive wall, so I had to go into a especially defensive Pokemon. to be able to break this thing. And as I mentioned, I didn't count how much damage would Sludge Bomb do to me, so that's the reason I didn't stay. I went for Greninja once again, fully knowing that he could be carrying Strange Steam, but that thing didn't kill me. He goes for a Sludge Bomb, but he gets the lucky poison, which is 30%, it happens. But that means that this thing is going to be crippled from now. Here I have the option to go for a Dark Pulse, a Hydro Pump, or an Extrasensory. And knowing that he could actually bring in the Pollen once again, I went for a Dark Pulse to try to grab the most damage I could into Empoleon. However, I should have probably gone for Switcheroo, trying to cripple this thing and making it so this thing was a momentum suck for him. So yeah, same thing happens once again. I know this thing is probably not carrying coverage for me, but I just can't stay in here. I don't want to lose my choice specs, and I won't be able to out damage the poison here. So yeah, now I switch out and bring Iron Heads, which once again is Assault Vest this week, trying to tank some kind of attacking move he might bring in on Empoleon, but he decides to go for Stealth Rock, which is fairly bad for my OGERPON because I can't use heavy duty boots. Now he's obviously going to switch out, so I decide here to go for a Volt Switch, trying to grab momentum so I can position some of my wall breakers to try to break some of his walls. Because I am not making much progress here. Empoleon is walling me the heck out of my Greninja, and here if he brings in the Weezing, that thing will probably damage my Pokemon if he's working Helmet. And I probably won't be able to KO it. He's also faster than me, and he also has a Cresselia, so yeah. I suspected this thing was going to be physically defensive this week, and I feel like I thought well of that. Yeah, it was probably physically defensive. Now I have the option to go into my Corviknight, trying to remove those Stealth Rocks, which I really want to remove off the field. Those will cripple further my Greninja, which is already crippled by the poison, and won't let me switch in my OGERPON. I am pressured this week because he has a lot of Pokemons, and I want to try to outstall the stallers, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so I go for a 3D pop here, which is really good for me, but yeah, TU was the obvious switch for him, because there was no way I was going to click a Body Press into Cresselia. I go for a TU, for a default, but now I had to tank an attack from this thing. And that's why I brought my Flash Fire Arcanine, because I was going to be able to tank the fire attack moves, which are really good into my team. Although, if he was carrying some form of coverage this week, he was Terra Ghost on his TU. That would have hurt a lot as well. I am fully specially defensive with this thing. Luckily he goes for a Flamethrower, and my Flash Fire saves me. So I don't know this guy's item. I suspect he might be Choice Specs. That's my assumption. And if it's not Choice Specs, he won't be doing a lot of damage into Arcanine, but if he is, he's going to be locked in and he's going to have to switch out. So yeah, staying in here was really safe. However, I wasn't able, with this particular set, I am not able to take on Cresselia, which is really bad. So I could put put up a double, but I was trying to scout whether he wanted to click another move or switch out to see if it was choice lock. And yeah, he brings along Mola, which is, as I see now, physically defensive, and he's carrying a Rocky helmet. So yeah, my physical trigger, physical attackers are going to have a lot of trouble during this battle. Luckily, Oski will be able to break through um, Alomomola, but it won't be able to break through Cresselia, which is troublesome, you know. So it's fairly obvious that this thing is going to flip turn in front of my face. So I went for to grab a little bit of chip. I went for the swap into Carbonite. And here I see that he is not going to flip turn, he's actually going to skull, and he grabs the burn. So yeah, a little bit of hacks on his favor. It doesn't matter much, actually. I EV'd my Corviknight to be the slowest possible, trying to underspeed Alomomola, but I saw that he did the same thing, and I went for a U-turn, trying to grab momentum, but surprise, surprise, he was slower than me. So he either clicked mirror move, I can't remember the name, the counter for special attacks, which is really unlikely, or he either flip turned here and he was slower than me and he flip turned into my Hydra Ball. He grabbed the momentum, and now he has the ability to go into one of his two really terrifying wall breakers. He's probably going to go into Shiyu, to be honest with you guys, because Ursaluna might be slower than my Hydra if I invested into speed here. So yeah, probably he wasn't going to bring Ursaluna, and yeah, as expected, he went into Chi. Now I know he's some kind of choice item. I doubt he's choice scarf, because he wouldn't. I don't know. I was not feeling choice scarf in this battle because he has a lot of tanks. So yeah, trying to bring in a potent wall breaker in the form of choice specs to you made way more sense to me. And I'm trying to figure out what can I do here. I wasn't going to be able to tank like an overhit. He wasn't going to click it probably because I have my Arcanine, and he would have been locked in with a fire type move into my Flash Fire one. So yeah, he wasn't going to click fire type move. I was going to have to tank one of his really strong attacks. So I go into Arcanine, trying to gauge how much damage he does here, and he goes for Psychic, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Psychic is really good, and he does massive damage. So he was probably modest and choice specs, as I was contemplating. So as I know he's locked in to that move, I go into my Dark type Greninja, and here I take some poison damage, which is bad. He still does some chip, and now the switch into Empoleon, which is super safe and super healthy, is really obvious. So I went for a switcheroo to try to cripple that thing. Little did I know that he was going to go into his Weezing, trying to sack it, which actually made sense because it was really low and wasn't going to be able to tank hits from any of my mons. As you can see, that's bad because I get another round of poison damage. And here I have the option to click Hydro Pump, risk a miss, and take another round of poison. I think I knew that I could take another one or switch out, but yeah, I decided to actually take out that Weezing, and I leave on 4 HP. Yeah. So now I don't have an item of this on this thing. It's not really that valuable, but I reckon it was going to be useful into Cresselia, so I decided to save it for another time or as a sack. And here a flip turn was also fairly obvious, so but I don't know if he can actually punish my high grapple switch. He probably can, because he can bring in another TU for another time and click a psychic, which does a lot of damage to my team, as you saw. I'm not able to tank 2 hits if I bring in Corviknight into TU, so yeah. Here I decide to go into Corviknight once again, trying to punish the flip turn. And as you see, I do, but he brings in TU once again. So I take some damage from flip turn, and I also take 1 round of burn damage. But, oh, he brings in the Ursaluna. I thought the TU was better for him, actually. So this was surprising. I knew Ursaluna wasn't going to be able to hit me that hard, even though he's Facade, Earthquake probably, but he had to have some form of coverage into me. Otherwise, there's no way he would bring this thing into a coverage, you know. So I decided to roost here, trying to stay healthy to be able to tank hits and punish facades from this thing with Rocky Helmet, but he goes for a sword stance. So yeah, at this point I'm wondering, is this thing going to break through all my mons? Corviknight was especially designed to tank hits from this thing. So yeah, if this thing is going to one hit KO me, I might as well grab some chip during the process, click Brave Bird, and yeah, he has coverage for Corviknight in the form of Fire Punch, but I get that valuable Rocky Helmet tip, which in tandem with the burn damage is going to tip this thing further. So here I need to bring something that's faster than Ursaluna, otherwise that thing is going to break through my team as a hot knife through butter. And at this point, I wanted to grab some damage on whatever was going to come in, which was probably going to be the Empoleon once again, or the Alomomola. I'm going to die to the poison damage, so luckily I will grab momentum off of display. I click OGERPON, trying to grab the most damage I could into something. I did a little bit of damage, which was immediately healed by the leftovers on the Empoleon, and here I will die to the poison damage, which lets me bring the mon I want and grab the matchup I really want. So yeah, I am realizing this Empoleon was going to be a problem for me. So yeah, but I was able to substitute in front of it. I know his entire moveset by now. So here he has to switch out, otherwise I will grab a substitute and a nasty blood boost. If he doesn't switch out, yeah, I am in great position because he won't be able to break my sub here. I can't remember which stereotype I was on High Grapple. I think I was Fairy, and with Arcanine I was Fairy as well, trying to stay resistant to to dark balls from TU. So yeah, I grab a substitute here, so I am able to deal a little bit of damage to this TU. I am not fully especially attacking invested here, but if I get a lucky roll with my Fickle Beam, with an all-out attack, I will be able to hit KO this thing. I barely don't to hit KO it. So yeah, Psychic is probably likely to bring me to a really little health. So I decide to grab some more chip on TU. So as this thing is almost dead, I want to preserve my Hydropple, and I know he knows that I want to preserve it, because who would have in his sane mind would Hydropple let go like this? I have Regenerator, which I can safely use to make my Hydropple healthy and keep it for another battle. So I switch out, and I know he knows this, that I will switch out. So I'm expecting him to either keep clicking Psychic into my team, which is super free, or trying to grab a better matchup for his team. So I switch out. Didn't switch out because I was slower, and here I let my Arcanine go. I figured, well, this thing is about to die. My Arcanine was my sub-check into TU. So yeah, if that thing was going to go out, Nino was of no use to me. The only faster thing that I have now to revenge kill this thing is Maria Gracia, the OGERPON. And I figured I was able to tank a Psychic, and in the process grab a short stance boost. Because Maria Gracia is the fastest mon alive in this moment in time. I am losing 5-3, so I need to try to do some risky moves here. So he preserves the TU, which I thought was really good, because it was about to die. And I grab a sword stance. Here I am carrying Knock-Up, which I know doesn't kill barely, but it will do a lot of damage. So if he wanted to maybe pull off some setup shenanigans, that would be really good for me if it was really low. But I was afraid of a Thunder. So if he had Thunder Wave, I think I lost this battle, because I wasn't going to be able to take on TU anymore. So that was my fear. But as I mentioned, I am losing this battle. I needed to make some moves, and I'm crossing my fingers for him not to have that pesky Thunder Wave. But at this point in time, I thought it was really safe to click Thunder Wave here, and I'm realizing it probably doesn't have it, and that the battle was won at this point, because nothing to take on OGERPON hard game. But he survives and goes for a Lunar Dance. At first I thought it was the other move, the one that healed him for a while, and I had to manually check what Lunar Dance does. I think it's like Healing Wish. So he brings in the TU, and to my demise, this thing, the final boss comes back to life, almost from being dead. So that's the reason he saved it. And here I thought, well, I KO with a +2 power whip, but if I miss, I am done, And as Psychic is super free here because he manages to KO my Hydraball with the first one or in 2 hits. Probably 2 hit KOs my Iron Hands. So yeah, my plan here was to sack melee, then to bring in Iron Hands, tank Psychic, but deal some damage in return to you. To put him in range of, I don't know, Ivy Cudgel. So yeah, that's what I do. But he goes for another hit, which is incredible for me because now he has to switch out, and I have another opportunity to go ahead and try to set up once again with Maria Gracia. As I know he has to switch out, I'm not planning to do what I wanted to do before, which is to bring in Oski. So yeah, here he's going to have to switch out. He won't be able to click overheat into me because it doesn't KO me. I go for a short stance. Hopefully be able to hit all my power waves from now on because I don't have much room to maneuver. Yeah, he brings in the Napoleon. I go for a short stance, and as I was calculating, I don't think Ivy Cudgel killed from this range at +2. Power Whip was the only thing that was KOing max HP and Napoleon from this range. So I went for it. It also punished the Alamomula switch, which was working out. So in hindsight, if Ivy Cudgel KO'd, because I find weird that it didn't KO at +2 at this range, I should have went for it and just tried to damage the Alamomula as much as I could and not risk the Power Whip a miss. And the karma got to me. It punished my bad play, but he went for Surf, so that was the last move that I didn't know of. He was carrying an Napoleon. It didn't do much, so I rinse and repeat, go for a Power Whip. Didn't think about clicking Ivy Cudgel once again, because now I think it was out of range due to the leftovers recovery, and luckily I do like the Power Whip, so yeah, I'm fairly close to sweeping with OGERPON. But that TU is at full, and I need to hit my Power Whip in order to one-hit KO it. Because Ivy Cudgel does about 85% and Knockoff does even less. So yeah, Power Whip was my only out this point. I couldn't believe my eyes when I checked the calculator, seeing that +2 Power Whip actually one-hit KO a TU, an uninvested TU. But I decided to trust it because for some reason I really didn't know. I really didn't expect it to KO with Power Whip, and luckily I do land it. So if he went for an overheat or whatever he clicked there, it was probably enough to kill my full OGERPON there. So yeah, OGERPON grabs another one. I think this is his third, and all that's left is Alamomula and the Ursaluna. So Alamomula here, I didn't want to. Well, clicking Power Whip was super safe because whatever he decided to click to me wasn't going to do enough damage. And lastly, he has his Ursaluna, and Ursaluna was totally cheap due to the Forky Helmet and the burn damage. So I knew that I didn't have to risk the Power Whip here, and was able to safely go for an IV cudgel and finish the battle after being down 3-5. Finished it with a 2-0 lead. I was calculating there, that's why I took a little bit of time to see if I got the plus 3 was enough to KO Ursaluna, and luckily it was. So yeah, that was the battle. A really dragged out battle. My opponent's team was really bulky and he had some terrifying wall breakers. And with this result, I am 2-1 in SPDA. Hopefully, carry this momentum into my next battle. So, thank you guys for coming, and I'll see you next time.